Welcome back to Mass Land Destruction, the MLD cast, if you will. The Zack Snyder cut of Magic the Gathering podcasts,
All right.
as voted by my mom.
Okay, your mom's still voting, huh?
Oh yeah, my mom is still the number one fan. Today we're going to talk about some wording changes that are coming and will not be affecting certain cards, thankfully.
Pretty much all the
We're
cards that previously would have been affected by it, it's not affecting. Cause there's only like 11 cards that are
there's a
affected
handful.
anyway.
We're gonna play a fun little game, and then we're gonna talk about Dylan's pre-release fun that he had with Bloomburrow. I was on vacation, so I didn't get to play.
Yeah, I didn't get to play like in the pre-release, but we got a box and we played some games against each other. So
Oh, fair enough. I mean, look, the Dragonhawk has been cleaning up on the arena with all the big, like all the streamers that get access to all the cards.
yeah,
The Dragonhawk has been cleaning up. That card's absurdly good.
yeah, it does close the game pretty fast. So
I was pretty pleased with it. So as all of you know, with Bloomburrow, we are seeing some wording changes. Most importantly, being enters the battlefield turns into enters. That one is pretty big, but also we are seeing the end of pre and post combat main phase, and it is going to be first and second main phase. And this is important because there are three cards that, well, it's 11 real cards, and then it's like 3 alchemy cards and then an uncard. So, but only 3 of the cards are like super good. So the big 3 are Megatron Tyrant, Brazen Cannonade, and Neheb the Eternal. uh for those of you that don't know, Megatron makes it so that on your post combat main phase, you can convert him and then add a colorless mana for each one life your opponent's lost this turn. Neheb does basically the same thing, but gives you a red for each life they lost this turn. And then Brazen Cannonade is at the beginning of your post combat main phase. If you attacked with a creature this turn, exile the top card of your library until the end of combat, or until the end of your next turn. You can, till end of combat on your next turn, you may play that card. So these were all going to get, like, originally it was like, oh, these are going to be hugely nerfed because they're all only going to trigger one time.
yeah, so you can't like
And
aggravated assault with Neheb or like get additional post combat main phases through additional combat steps.
people were not happy about it. And it wasn't like oh, how dare you, Watsy, do this to us. It was like, hey, like, we understand that the wording change is happening, but this is a crime against humanity, and you shouldn't you shouldn't change these cards. And so a Watsy employee, I don't remember the name of the Watsy employee, my brain is bad, but he came out and said that the pre-post combat main phase cards will not be affected. There was one card that the change kind of didn't like matter to, because it specifically stated your second main phase. So how it's going to work going forward is, instead of your pre and post combat main phase, you're going to have your first and second main phase, and then any additional combat that gives you an additional main phase will be your third main phase and your fourth main phase.
Yeah.
But these cards will not see a change to that, thankfully, because they would be unplayable. Like, what do you mean my Neheb doesn't make infinite mana? Like, this is horrible. Like,
I mean, it's Ruin's kind of like the base of the Neheb deck, right? Because it's just aggravated assault plus Neheb. But
yeah, but like, it's fun, and Magic is not very fun right now in Eternal formats, because all of the Eternal formats consist of 2 decks,
Nadu and Grief, my guy.
Nadu and Grief. Yeah, and like, Legacy's the same way. It's Grief. It's not Nadu, but it's Grief.
Yeah.
So let's try to keep Commander fun, at least. I mean, Standard is hopefully going to be a whole new world here in the next couple of weeks. So we'll talk about that at the end. Uh, I don't know, like, rules changes. Yeah, I've seen a couple of rules changes in my time. I was there for the changing of Planeswalker uniqueness, which I was not a fan of. I was vehemently against Planeswalker uniqueness. I was there for the second legendary change. I don't know if you remember, there was the legendary rule in Kamigawa that they got rid of because it was bad. and then they went to uh the next legendary rule, which was only one instance of a legendary permanent could be on the table at a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
My favorite way to kill somebody else's Sigarda Host of Herons was to play my own Sigarda Host of Herons, and it just killed both of them.
Yeah. Phyrexian Metamorph, your legendary, and just laugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those days.
Planeswalkers, if you played, it works like it does now, but it worked for every Planeswalker that was the same subtype. So your Jace Belrin killed your Jace the Mind Sculptor, and I was cool with that. But then they changed it to where it's now, as long as it's not the same like
exact name. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. And I hated that at the beginning.
And it only counts your battlefield, it doesn't count your opponents.
Yeah, it doesn't count your. I don't think opponents ever counted, or it ever counted the opponent's battlefield.
We could both
have Jace Belrin.
Yeah, but legendaries it did.
Yeah. Oh, well, they weren't legendary. Remember, Planeswalkers used to be legendary. Yeah. That was a big rules change. I remember when that happened. What was the next? I don't think there's been a major rules change since the London Mulligan is the next big rules change.
I mean, we've had like 2 or 3 Mulligan changes, but like,
yeah, I think the London Mulligan is the Mulligan to stick with. I think it's the best one.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I mean, just it. The game gets bigger, the game changes. I think some rules changes we take in stride, even if we don't hate them. I mean, Planeswalker uniqueness didn't ruin the game. It made Super Friends decks viable in, non-commander formats, and that's cool. Like, let's let it ride, But with that, we're gonna roll into our game. So I spent a long time setting this up, by the way. I am not proud of how much work I put into this. So when you tell me you're ready, I am going to reveal this top card to you.
Oh God.
And then you are going to rank it 1 through 5.
Okay. Go ahead.
Grand Arbiter Augustine the 4th.
4.
Is it because he's the 4th?
No, it's because he's gas.
Well, you have to remember, you don't know on what scale you're ranking these.
I agree, but to me, he's a 4.
Okay, next we have Gerard, Golgari Lichlord.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a 2 for me.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know which one is like. I don't know if 5's good or 1's good. So like,
one's the good one.
I would switch those two then. I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll switch them then. We'll give you that. I should have explained that better. Yeah, you're ranking them 1 to 5, 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. Okay, so we have Grand Arbiter Augustine at 2 and Gerard at 4.
Yeah. They're all legendaries. I feel like we're in a commander list. All right. Lazav, Dimir, Mastermind. Dude, this is a 5 for me. I don't like this card.
I actually like this card. I played this card in Standard when he was the big thing.
I like the other Lazav, the newer one.
I like this one better because it just happens. It's just a triggered ability.
Yeah, fair.
Also, it was in Standard with Avacyn, so like milling an Avacyn and becoming an Avacyn makes people stand up.
Yeah.
I want you to know that this is coming out exactly like I wanted it to.
Okay.
All right, next we have the big Borgamosan Rage.
Oh God. I guess that's a solid 3. So whoever's last is gonna be 1, which is gonna piss me off. It's gonna be bad.
Actually, it's I'm pretty happy with this one. It's Rakdos, Lord of Riots.
All right. Well, yeah.
How do you feel about your tier list?
I don't like it.
Well, now I'm gonna tell you what the tier list was.
Augustine would have been the first number 1 if I had known.
So you were ranking which guild leader you'd like to top you.
Oh, bet.
And you have chosen
Rakdos,
Lord of Riots, to be your number 1.
I'm down with it, baby. Let's go. Just end me.
I had to make the list. First of all, it's all also just male guild leaders.
Yeah. I mean,
like, I like Gerard being at the top would have been pretty funny because there's a lot of implications in that one.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Lazav being the top would have been the best. You know what I mean? Because he could be whatever. Because
he can be whatever.
He can be whatever, dude. He could be Avison. We talked about this.
He knows what. Who knows what it could be? It could even be a shapeshifter. Now, if you were gonna rank these on how good they were, what would you do? In a 60 card format.
60 card format.
Yeah.
Okay. 60 card format changes things, but I would go Grand Arbiter at number 1, Gerard at 2, Lazav at 3, Borg or Bigamos at 4, Rakdos at 5.
I think Rakdos is the worst in a sealed, not sealed, but in a 60 card format.
Yeah.
He used to run it. I had a pre-release story. We were doing RTR. I guess it was Gate Crash. In dude's pre-release box, he pulled Prime Speaker Zagana and Borgamos.
Yeah.
So he ended up running like an 80 card monstrosity.
Just a bunch of lands.
It was a bunch of lands. Dude, it was like, I think it was like 50 lands. It might have been 60 lands. And everything was just card draw to get to Borgamos.
Yeah.
And then you windmill slam Borgamos, and then you played Zagana, and then drew all the cards.
Yeah, it's like Borgamos isn't bad. I just think that like Lazav edges him out for like the 3 spot because Lazav can be like anything, right? So
yeah.
But I definitely think
the hexproof matters.
Yeah, I definitely think Grand Arbiter and Gerard is like 1 or 2.
You know what's better than an Avison?
An Avison with a hexproof.
Avison with hexproof. But that was a fun little. We're gonna do this.
I'm getting topped by Rakdos, bro.
Oh yeah, number 1 choice. You don't want Lazav, who could be anything you want.
Yeah, apparently no.
I guess you just want Lazav to be Rakdos.
Hey, he's a big, strong man.
Boy, is he. Hey, he's also like chauvinistic. So like it's gonna be a weird time. There's definitely gonna be dudes watching.
Well, this is a show.
It's
some would say a spectacle.
Some would say a spectacle. This was fun. I liked the setup. The setup ended up working better than I thought it was going to. But we will come back. We will definitely come back to this as a bit because this was funny for me.
Yeah, I bet. I'm gonna be suspicious of any random tier list you give me now.
Oh, it's gonna.
And the worst part is you're gonna give me with a couple of these pranks, and then you're gonna give me a real one, and I'm just gonna mess it up.
Yeah, and like I liked doing it blind because then when you hit like Lazav, you were like, oh god, this is.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, there's a theme here. But what exactly is the theme around this theme?
It's male guild leaders. Like, what's your favorite male guild leader?
Niv Mizzet. He's the boy.
I was gonna do Niv instead of Rakdos, and then I decided that Rakdos was just funnier.
Yeah, fair.
I think Niv, like Borgamos, has a lot of implications as well. Okay, they all have a lot of weird implications. It's like you like old dudes, whatever weird things Rakdos is into.
I mean, let's be honest. Like Grand Arbiter would just like detain you and tie you down anyway. So like you're not getting away. There's no consent there. And then like Rakdos, there's no consent there, but it's over pretty quickly. But Borgamos doesn't ask questions; he just takes.
This is mine now.
Problem with Gerard is like after you die, he's probably still going at it, and then Lazav like.
He's gonna change mid.
Yeah, he's gonna get you with it in the middle of it. Like,
yeah,
suddenly it's not gonna be the same.
He's gonna start out as like, like you getting that fiddle fip, and then he's gonna be what's something big in Ravnica that isn't Rakdos or Borgamos. Rurik Thar. Then you're getting Rurik Thard.
He's gonna be Ansrag. Dumb old god.
Oh god. Yes. Oh, he's gonna definitely be digging you out.
Well.
Oh god.
PG-13 rating this week, boys.
Hey, we didn't. True. Oh, it was worth it for the bit.
Yeah, true.
And with that, let's talk about
actual standard.
Actual standard, yeah. He said earlier, I've been I haven't had time to play because like my life has been super hectic. We went on vacation, and then like my first day back from vacation, like Monday, we didn't do anything. Like we did nothing all day.
Yeah,
Oh wait, today's Monday. I'm a day
I'll
off.
say, I'll say,
Sunday we didn't do anything. Like it was just like lay around the house and think about being alive. Uh
yeah,
and
debate.
yesterday was Elden Ring. I beat Elden Ring yesterday, finally.
Yesterday was Sunday, so
Yeah. So today here we are recording it Monday night again. But I've
yeah, it
been
happens.
yeah, life, the
Yep.
boy.
Double.
But I've been watching like standard content and just kind of seeing how pre-release is
I'm
going.
super excited for standard. Like,
Yeah, Offspring is sick.
Offspring, Offspring played so much better, and especially in the sealed environment, it played so much better. And like even in the standard environment, it's like that little bit of extra mana to do something is like super useful and super flexible. And I think it's going to go down as like one of the better like competitive format mechanics of all time.
I 100% agree. I also, however, have decided that for your bat deck, don't run Bob Bat. It's not worth it.
Oh no, I'm running Bob Bat 100%.
No, dude, I've seen it now. You hit Aclazox and it's over. Take
No,
7 to the face. Or
you
take.
see, that's if I'm playing the Bob Bat, then I'm more of a Bat dedicated deck than I am the original version.
Yeah.
And the goal is to gain ridiculous amounts of life, so it won't really matter too much. But I'm also not playing Lunar Cavalcade in that deck, so I'm not like super pressured to like lose life every turn. So like I'm only playing 2 copies of like the Bob Bat because it's like it's not the best card in the deck, and again I don't want to 5-ball myself randomly and kill myself, but it's also like it's
and like
card advantage.
Phyrexian Arena still in standard. Like, worst case scenario, we always just put that in.
I mean, it is what it is. I don't like Phyrexian Arena personally, but it's not because it doesn't enable things. So
yeah, I mean it's shenanigans. You still have Shieldred in the deck, right?
if I'm going full bats, no.
I don't think standard is in a position where you can cut Shieldred the Apocalypse and be okay.
I think it is 100%. She wasn't good, and she wasn't good the past like 4 or 5 months anyway. Like she was only good in certain decks, and she's not like the best card at 4 mana all the time. Like Preacher of the Schism just became like a way too good of a card. If I'm playing like a dedicated like more of a mid range style deck, then like I'm probably not playing any of the bats besides like Deep Cavern Bat and Ackleslots. But if I'm playing like a more dedicated bat build, then yeah, if I'm playing a more discard based build, then I want to play Shieldred because I have a lot more like extra draw power to make it so that it's like not a even where we're both like drawing off the top card of the deck. Things like Bandit class to draw a couple extra cards each turn, stuff like that.
One Ring really does push her over the top.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the best things to do. Yeah. Like you play One Ring and you play her, and then you just like laugh at the opponent as they die under all the value you have. So
yeah, it's I don't know. I still hate Shieldred. I really wish she were out of here. I think I'm just a little traumatized by her.
I mean, she was like ridiculously good for the longest time, right?
Like they printed a removal spell just for Shieldred. It's a bad removal spell, but she's the reason they printed it. That is confirmed.
Yeah.
And then like frogs are doing really good too. I ADHD'd a little bit there, but frogs have been coming on strong.
Frogs is like it's one of those like things that it takes a while to understand and wrap your head around because like the deck is kind of hard to build, especially in like the sealed environment, right?
Yeah.
But like the enter the battlefield, and like I think I said this before, but I really wanted to see stun counters like be good, and I think that the 4 mana 3/4 that enters and taps a thing and stuns it for 3 turns, or if you tap your own thing you draw 2 cards also. I think that card is like ridiculously powerful. Stunning like the biggest threat on the board for 3 turns actually matters.
Yeah.
And that's like a perfect example because it gives you a body and also gives you flexibility. Like if nothing's going on, you can tap your own dude.
I think stun counters are one of those mechanics that's like if they make it too good, it just kind of runs away with everything.
Yeah.
And I think they're just afraid to make it too good. It's like how all the cipher spells from Gatecrash are Garbo, except for like 2.
Yeah, because like the biggest thing is I really thought that impede momentum was like good, right? But
Yeah.
the issue with impede momentum was like it didn't do it didn't give you the board, right? Well, this is a creature that gives you a thing on the board and does the thing, which like plays into the I want your things tapped down like fantasy way better than a sorcery or an instant does. So I think that's
Okay.
like where it plays. And then like the whole frog thing of like bouncing the things to your hand or like blinking things works out very well because with this card in specific, because you just tap 4 mana, play this card, stun your guy, and then bounce him to your hand at the end of turn, and he's no longer stunned when you play him next turn. But you still got the 2 cards out of it. So like there's a lot of like cool little niche things like that with frogs. My biggest thing is that I don't think there's a dedicated frog deck in standard, but I think that the frogs will see play. Like I think the 1/2 that like cascades for any land off the top of your library is probably going to see play. And I do also think that in like a ramp style shell, that 4 mana card will see like high play. I think like in a doppelgang teamer build of some sort, like those 2 cards of the frogs will see humongous amounts of play because like I'll either tap your thing if you're being aggressive at me, or I'll tap my 1/2 that ramped me and draw me 2 cards, and I still have this 3/4. Like you don't even have to play like the full frog style package to like get use out of these 2 cards. So
because the frogs don't have, it's not like do this with a frog and this happens. It's just do this.
It's just unsummon my own dude, which is hilarious for frogs, right? So
yeah, and like I mean, there's a couple of good like ETBs outside of frogs. There's like, I mean, I'll bounce a Sea Note Scout. It's 1 green to explore. Like, let's do it.
It has like if there's any good like enter abilities, then like it's gonna be kind of okay. It's just trying to figure out where these things fit. And I think like the easiest way to find where things fit is like the frog that gets you a land, because it's like that's just a good 3-drop that ramps you to 5 mana, which is like the dragon, the bird, the big bird, 5 mana bird, the flying guy that exiles things. I forget his name. Dragonhawk. Yeah, there's that guy. There's Maha. There's a bunch of like these big bomby 5-drop threats in this set that is rather aggressive slanted. So like I can definitely see us ramping into that, and like even outside of this, ramping into Bonnie Paul or anything like that.
What's the cost on the Cascade Frog?
3. He's a 1/3. No, sorry, he's a 1/2 for 2 and a green reach, and there's Battlefield Cascade for land.
Oh, so he goes into Domain. He replaces Stomper.
I don't think he replaces Stomper, but the only reason why I don't think he replaces Stomper is I think Heaped Harvest is just better. Because
fair enough.
Like while he's good, and like the not being able to have control over the specific card you're getting is the part that sucks.
But
for
he hits
Domain
any land.
Yeah, but he hits the first one, so it doesn't matter. Like you don't get a choice. Whereas with like Heaped Harvest, you play it, you get to go get whatever land type you need, and it's also something that you can sack to feed the cycle to get another land. So you get to play Feed the Cycle, which is like the best Heroes Downfall printed, right? So there's no reason not to do that. And it's just like those 2 combinations. I think I said this in the Discord. I don't know if I said this on cast, but I think Heaped Harvest is like one of the best tools that keeps Domain around. It's just trying to figure out how the rest of it works. I think it's like you just kind of slide out Stomper because they're rotating. You move in Heaped Harvest. You find some slots for Feed the Cycle instead, and then you keep it moving.
What did you play against friend of the show, Papen?
Papen played this like blue-red prowess deck.
Of course he did.
It died. It lost to black-red, pretty much lizards, but not exactly lizards. Because that was the first deck that like we built. But I handily beat him for like 5 games in a row, and then we opened up 6 different packs, and 6 different packs each, and built new decks. I built a black-white Flyers. It was mostly bats, but that was just because like that's just what I happened to open.
That's just how it goes.
Yeah, I didn't have a bunch of like bat specific synergies. I was like, well, listen, Flyers are Flyers, and in this sealed format, Flyers are really, really
Flyers
good.
Are Flyers.
Yeah. So And then he built like this. I forgot what he built 2 decks because the first deck that he played like 0% beat me. There was no way for him to beat me. It was like this
That's
green.
wild.
It was like this green something deck that like he had like the moose, the nice like solid sealed moose, the trample, haste, reach,
Yeah.
dude, like the ridiculous amount of keywords, keyword soup on a card. Like he had that, and he's like, and that was like the only card in his deck that could really deal with any of my flyers. And like I had the 2/4 back cleric that every time you gain a life, he gets +1 power. And then I also had Life Creed Duo, which is the Soul Sister bat. So like I'd play a creature, I'd gain a life, it'd get +1. I incidentally gain life through doing a bunch of different other things. So it just kind of got big, and being vigilance like that, and the 5-drop 3/5 bat that at the end of the turn, if you gain life or lost life, they get to do like the Torment of Scarab effect, the Torment of Hailfire effect, where they have to pay 3 life, discard a card, to sacrifice a non-land. Those 2 cards are like MVPs in that deck. Because I just like put them in the pinch.
Are they good sealed in the sealed environment only, or do you think they're good in constructed?
I don't think they're good in constructed. I think the 2/4 being 3 mana is too much. There's too much glut in the 3 mana spot. Okay. And I think that card, the other card's just not good for a 5-drop. Like in non-sealed environment, you don't want to pay 5 mana for that, because I want to pay 5 mana for Acklazotz. Acklazotz ends the game, where this doesn't necessarily end the game.
Yeah, fair enough. What? So his blue-red prowess deck.
Yeah.
Was it flying bats just a bad matchup for it, or was it?
Well, the blue-red prowess deck, I wasn't playing bats. I was playing like a lizard brew, like a lizard Rakdos.
Was the lizard deck just a bad matchup for it, or?
I mean, the best removal spell in the freaking whole sealed environment was at least for me, was the 3 mana Wolf's Howl. I forget what the actual title of it is, but it's the gift a card. If you do gift them a card, you deal 1 damage to target creature and 2 damage to everything. If you don't give them the card, just 2 damage to everything. So like I just wiped his board.
That is the problem with this set, is everything is so little.
Yeah, because it was like a prowess based deck, he didn't permanently really boost anybody's toughness. So it was pretty easy for me to just like kind of kill his creatures and then just keep swinging in.
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah, the 1-drop lizard was gas, and I think that's like one of the things that are 100% going to go in a mono red deck. The 1-drop haste 1/1. Well, I don't think it has haste. It's a 1-drop 1/1. Whenever it attacks, it deals 1 damage to the opponent, and you can pay 1 and a colorless to put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Okay.
But you can only activate it if it only works if they've lost life this turn. You can only activate if they've lost life this turn. So you kind of attack with it, you ping them for 1, then you can activate it to make it a 2/2 or a 3/3 and do that damage in the combat step, because you got that ping as something you respond to.
Yeah.
But like that was pretty big. And I think that's probably one of the best. This whole set has nuts 1-drops. Let's just be honest. This whole set is like ridiculously good 1-drops.
It feels like the 1, 2, and 3-drop in this set is crazy.
Yeah, like this set is 100% more like, at least in the sealed environment, is like nuts for aggression. It's very, very good. Now in like a constructed environment, I'm not so sure, because we have so many tools to counter that with like pest control, temporary lockdown, and then other wraths, right? And we even got like a wrath plus reanimator spell.
The stupid bridge, the craft bridge.
Yeah. Unstable glyph bridge.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things. Now, I will tell you, constructed wise, while I am on this Orzhov deck, because I had the Orzhov deck before, right? So I'm just kind of like upgrading it and trying to keep it. I am beyond thinking that Ygra is like the best card in this set for constructed.
I like Dragonhawk. I think Dragonhawk does exactly what it needs to do. It's impulse draw.
Yeah, so it doesn't like get affected by shield or anything. But no,
or
like
anything else.
Like not only does Ygra have the combo, right? Because there's a combo with Ygra, if no one knows, in standard, where you can just infinitely kill your opponent with Ygra on the board. You need Ygra, Bart, and then one of 2 cards. And and it's one of those both of those cards say when you sacrifice a food, make a creature token. So like there's the Camilla, the legendary squirrel from this set, and then there's a confectioner that makes a rat whenever you sacrifice a food. They become food. Yeah. So you just sacrifice them with Bart, everything grows exponentially. And then you can also add other ways to kill throughout not combat damage, which is Scavenger's Talent, which mills them out, or Elias Alcor to deal drain damage because you're just infinitely sacrificing. Besides from that, Yigra just gets big fast. Like, yeah. I watched it get played, and then it just became a 12/12, and there was just nothing the deck could do. Like, there was no like recourse. It wasn't like he wasn't going out of his way to do a bunch of sacrificing food things or like do this shenanigans. It was just a base Golgari deck. It had one copy of Camilla, which he never played. And the whole time, and by the way, this is Jim Davis. If anybody who watches Jim Davis, he's gas for constructed content, and he does 10 new brews every time there's a new set, and I just watch it religiously. But the thing is like, he literally played it, and like I guess he did have one card to facilitate this, which was Bristleback Farmer, which is a card I forgot existed because the big score sheet is obnoxious.
Yeah.
So like the turn before he played Bristleback Farmer made 2 food, and then played Yigra and attack with Bristleback Farmer, sack the 2 food, and all of a sudden Yigra's a 10/10, and he gets to put a permanent from his hand onto play, which was ridiculous. And then the opponent like tried to kill Yigra, only to have to sacrifice a creature, and it became a 12/12, and because it's ward protective food. It's like, it was obnoxious. And I was just like, this card seems crazy. And if you're built around to use it, it seems even more obnoxious. But like, that's the same thing with like the like, it seems like to me, the Golgari cards in this set are like overrated. I don't mean like overrated as in like people are viewing them too highly. I mean like overrated as far as cost to stat line. So like you got this 2-mana 3/2 that enters and dies, makes a food. That's a ridiculously good card. Like, I'm just going to enter the battlefield and make a food so you can gain 3 life at some point. And if I die, you get to do it again. And I'm a 3/2 for 2 mana, which is okay. It's like above rate.
Did you see any seasons?
I saw a meme deck, but I didn't see like a bunch. No, like I saw a meme deck, and the meme deck almost won. And it was just all 5 seasons. It was like 5-season domain.
Oh my god.
It was like playing Leyline Binding and then all 5 seasons. And the only goal of it was to like play the white season, make a bunch of tokens, and then buff them all to like end the game. But the black season, ridiculous. It's one of the best cards in the set, in my opinion. I think the flexibility of having your own creatures die, draw the cards for it, is great, and also being able to dodge all the random ward effects is also pretty huge. So I think that like that card also is pretty high on my list. The other seasons.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, we talked pretty highly on Rotten Mouth Viper. Have you seen anything on that?
There's a whole deck that's based around abusing it and getting it out like turn 1 or turn 2 right now.
I knew there would be.
Well, not turn 1, but turn 2, turn 3. Usually turn 3, it's like cards like the 1-mana rat that when it dies makes a mercenary. It's cards like Crawling Chorus, Novus Inspector that make a bunch of material. So that when you sacrifice them to the Rotten Mouth Viper, you don't necessarily lose a thing in the case of like the undead dying things style of effects, or Novus Inspector just making 2 things to sacrifice to it. I watched that again. This is all in Jim Davis's 10 new brew stuff, so go check him out. But I watched somebody play that on turn 3. The guy I believe he went turn 1 Novus Inspector, turn 2 Novus Inspector, tap land, turn 3 Rotten Mouth Viper by sacrificing all 4.
Oh my god.
And it just ran over the game. Like there was nothing Jim could do. He was just like, I'm in the vice right now. Like this dude got 3 malice counters or whatever they are on it, and I can't do it. That's obnoxious. But there was another deck that I do want to talk about. Which again, hi guys, I watch a lot of Jim Davis. This is a Jason Yee deck. I don't know if anybody knows who Jason Yee is, or listeners actually know who Jason Yee is, but Jason Yee has been like crushing it as far as like pro tour and tournament stuff. He hasn't gotten no first place finish, but he's one of the ones who like championed the Slogurk deck. He's the guy who like him and Team Sanctum of All is like the team that he plays with. And they crush. Like, Slowkirk was their whole thing. They built it. They destroyed it. They loved it. And now they're playing this. Well, at least Jason was. He was playing this Grixis, right? Yeah, this Grixis deck, and all it was the Storm Splitter Otter, which I think is the 4-drop 1/4 that copies itself whenever you prowess.
Yes.
That, Beseech, and Reenact the Crime. Tithe. I think I sent you the video that Jim Davis did.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is playing. So pretty much the whole entire deck list is this. So it's 4 Beseeches, it's 4 Reenacts, it's 4 Tithing Blades because you need the artifacts, and it's a removal spell. It's 4 or 3 treasure maps, usually 3, I would assume. And 4 Collector Vault because again it makes artifacts and it digs you to your combo pieces. And then like 2 Twin Furnos, and then 4 Splitters. And the whole point of it is you just play Beseech, you sacrifice your artifact tokens, right? If you don't already have the Otter on the battlefield, you Twin Furno. Your goal is to Twin Furno the Beseech, because you then you sacrifice your things and you go get Otter, and then you go get another Beseech. Beseech triggers Otter, and then you keep doing this loop because your Beseech goes to the graveyard, then you go get Reenact the Crime to recast the Beseech again, and you keep going through your deck for these 4 cost cards, right? So you have about 8 of these cards, and you just start the loop. And because they sacrifice tokens, once you start making 3 or 4 extra Storm Splitters, you can sacrifice the Storm Splitter tokens because they don't matter because you're making 100 Storm Splitter tokens this turn. So like, why does that matter? And you just turn sideways. Like, your opponents tap out and they lose the game if you have the 4 mana necessary to start the loop. And like it's like I said, it's playing Collector's Vault, which makes treasures, and Treasure Map itself, which can make treasures. So like, it's kind of going off. Now, again, there's very easy ways to disrupt this combo, at least in the current iteration of it. But it is a fun little combo deck with Storm Splitter. And like, I saw him do that against Jim, and then Jim was like, I need to find this list. So he can do he did his Cool Stuff Inc. article on it. So on the last day, he like quickly before the servers turned off the next day, he got on and like did what he could. But yeah, it's kind of gas. It's one of those things where like it's probably going to be fun to like see the iterations of that list specifically, because like you don't really need to resolve all 8 copies of these combo cards, right? Oh, I'm sorry. There was a card I forgot, Insatiable Avarice, which is the
just
the
one of the cards.
Search for one of the combo pieces, or just draw 3 cards most of the time,
or both.
But you probably won the game by the time that you're casting that mana. But yeah, so like there's been a lot of fun things to come. Now, obviously, I want to see more like serious constructed combat with it. XD camera.
I know.
But like that's the biggest thing for me is that early access events, you're always going to get the like less interactive, like a little bit more goldfishy style of decks.
Yeah,
so,
well, and everybody wants to do their thing and see what the thing is, and like you need to see what the decks can do at their peak so that you can figure out what you can cut from your deck to stop what they're doing.
Yeah, so like it makes sense, but it's also like one of those things where you can't like put a whole bunch of stock in the way that decks perform during these early access streamer events.
Yeah,
but what you can do is see how good cards are in that vacuum.
Yeah,
and then you can take that knowledge and apply it to like the format as a whole. So like there's a rabbit, the 4-drop mythic rare, I believe it's a mythic rare that has Offspring. Whenever you attack, not when it attacks, whenever you attack, you either make a rabbit or you pump your team by 1, +1/+1, and it has Offspring for 2. I believe.
I think so.
That card I think is going to see amazing amounts of standard play because it's just really, really good. Because it's not this creature has to attack; it's just whenever you attack. So I think that card's going to kind of creep up. I did see a lot of people playing the Matter Weaver from the Big Score. Actually, I saw a lot of Big Score cards seeing play. But I think that's because those cards are like easy to forget that they're in standard. because the simulacrum is the only one, like a real card that's seen play. So it's easy to kind of understand that like these cards are better than these guys were almost good enough, but things like Wandering Emperor kept them out, right? So
Yeah. And thank God it's Warren War Leader. It's a 4 mana 2 and 2 white Rabbit Knight. It's a 4/4 with Offspring too. Whenever you attack, choose one. Make a tapped 1/1 white rabbit that's attacking, or attacking creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn.
yeah, and like you play 6 mana to Offspring that, and all of a sudden all your attacking creatures getting +2/+2. That can end the game very quickly.
Yeah.
Like if that's like the top end of your kind of aggro deck, either rabbits or mice or anything, like just an aggressive deck, then that's pretty gas. The biggest thing is this set is so much synergy focused, right? So we got to find out how much of that synergy can make it through the go for the throats and the sun falls and stuff. But to be fair, Cavern of Souls sees a huge uptick, and I think that because of Cavern of Souls sees a huge uptick, control decks are not going to be as much counter focused and going to be more tap out focused.
Yeah.
So you're going to see more things like permanent style removal.
Speaking of synergies, the villages. How are the villages?
So I only got to play with the black and the white one on my side, and they both felt really, really good.
Excellent. I was worried about those when we were doing our first look through of everything. I was like, these seem kind of mid, just because like the utility land that has such a strict, I want to say that it's a strict like requirement, but I guess it's really not that bad when everything in the set is doing these things.
I think that the fact that each of them get like 4 different types is huge. So like,
yeah.
So something that in my Orzhov Bat Focus deck is that Lupine Flower Village, I think it's called, the white one.
Yeah.
That being able to get rabbits, mice, bats, or birds is like huge, because it can get my 2 mana lord, the Valley Caller, or it can get any of my bats. So like I think like being a white tribal focused land or kindred focused land is like actually kind of like good for the land. It's not like a like the old style where you need to have a fairy in hand to do something or something like that. It plays well with all of that color's like kindred of cards, which is important. And then all those like quest caller effects. I don't know if they're all called quest caller, but all the caller cards from each of the kindred types also work with all the types of that color too. So like the white one, the Valley Quest Caller, it's the other mice, rabbits, bats, and birds get +1/+1.
And when they enter, you scry one.
Yeah, so like they all reference the other all 4 types. So it's like it's actually very well suited for like this style of environment. I think if those cards were more narrow, this format would be way worse.
Yeah, it's Valley. They're all Valley something caller. You have Valley Might Caller, which is the 1 mana. Right? The frog. It's the 1 mana 1/1 with trample.
Oh, the frog. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, buffs all of your green guys. The 3 mana 3/3 red one is the lizard that whenever if a lizard, mouse, otter, or raccoon you control deal damage to a permanent or a player, it deals that much +1. The flood collar is the one that gives everything flash. I made a really good short on that. Go check it out.
True.
And it does birds, frogs, otters, and rats, and untaps them when you cast things. That one's actually crazy. And then the black one is the rock collar.
Oh, that's the life drain.
Yeah. Whenever it attacks, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of other squirrels, bats, lizards, and rats.
Yeah, and then there's like the green 2/1, and then there's the green 2/1 that has Offspring that gets a counter every time one of them is targeted by something. So it's just like they grow.
That's just the 5 that are in that cycle, the Valley
Yeah.
Caller cycle.
They're just all those. The fact that those and the lands target so many different things, I think like it made at least the sealed environment so much more fun, and I think that gives like these cards way more of a chance to see more standard play because you're not so restricted to a specific kindred type to get these effects. You can kind of branch out and grab like good cards from here and good cards from here and make it work. Now, I will say there's a card that I think is going to be creeping up on the list as far as good cards from this set. And me and this we said friend of the show, Papin, has have been talking about this card. I think Beza is gonna be one of the best cards in standard, sideboard or main deck. I think this card's yeah. I think this card's gonna be nuts. It's the 4 mana.
Oh, it's
the beast guy.
The catch up. Yeah, if you're behind, you get like if you're behind on lands, you get a land. You gain 4 life. If they have more life, you get the 2 fish. Yeah, and then you draw a card.
So like this card, number one, it's like it's a super powered timely reinforcements, right? But then like Papin's thought, and it's like kind of a fun thought, is like Starfall Invocation. Like you get to gift them a card, which could put their hand over top of your hand. You kill all the creatures on the battlefield. You return this from the graveyard to the battlefield because it's one of the creatures out on the battlefield. And you get to reuse its effect. Like multiple ways to abuse this guy's effect. Salvation, the bird, the one that enters the battlefield and blinks another non-flyer, can blink Beza and keep doing whatever Beza needs to do and kind of like get you back into the game. So there's a lot of like cool little things with that creature, and the fact that it's like a 4 mana super timely reinforcements. It's kind of gas. I think that card is going to see a lot of like at least sideboard play, if not main deck play.
Yeah, I think so. It's the problem with the rabbit from OTJ. The catch up ramp rabbit.
Oh yeah.
Whatever it's called. The issue is that like you like okay against certain decks like you're always gonna get like against red or red black mono black you're always gonna get probably the fish and probably the life. Against blue you'll probably always get the card draw, but you'll probably only ever get the card from blue. Green you'll probably always get the fish and you'll always get the land. You'll probably get the light. Green might be the best card for this, honestly, to go up against.
Well, I think like this is one of the things where like you can always manufacture the land. The land is not hard to manufacture to get the treasure token.
Yeah, true.
Like that's like the way Night of White Orchid works. Like if you go second, you're just always available to do it. And then if you're not, you can always just kind of skip a land drop and kind of ramp ahead.
Yeah.
Or you can play things like the desert that bounces a land to your hand that taps for 2 mana. And now you're not behind, but you're behind, and then Beza gets you a treasure anyway. But then like I think like because the format is at least sealed format is so aggressive and there are so many good 1-drops. I watched Mouse decks like trample everyone. I watched the blue red otters deck actually because no one was playing a whole bunch of removal. Obviously, the otter deck got to pop off, but that's because like prowess you need. If you get to keep your creatures, you generally win the game. Whereas like the mouse deck, it didn't matter a lot of the times what I was watching people do. So like that's where it's like all of a sudden you land this big bodied Beza, which blocks very well, that gains you 4 life and probably gives you 2 fish. It's like, oh hey. And then
it is a big body. It is a 4/5.
I think it's a 4/4. Yeah, 4/5, even better. Yeah. That's above, kind of, to my opinion, above rate for a 4 mana card in a lot of cases with that many things that you can get from it, right?
Well, Questing Beast.
Yeah, well, we don't talk.
Questing Beast.
Questing Beast is too much. That was a paragraph.
It has Planeswalker Death Touch.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like one of those things where like I'm excited to see where this format goes, and I think that like we're gonna see a lot of these cards be better than we think they are off rip.
Are we okay? So the rotation schedule is kind of lost on me because The last time I really cared about standard was when we had blocks and things rotated in blocks. So when is our next rotation after next month?
Next year.
So we will be having I thought we are doing a rotation every year.
Yes, but every set stays in standard for 3 years. So standard's just bigger.
Okay.
So like your stuff doesn't drop out as soon.
Okay, so next rotation we will lose everything that came out in, oh my god, 2022.
Pretty much, yeah.
My
Like
god.
we're just losing, technically losing less sets from kind of what I was understanding. It is like, so we lose the three sets this time, and we're gonna lose, I believe, 3 sets next time. So like right now we're losing Kamigawa, we're losing New Capenna, we're losing Crimson Dawn and Midnight Hunt, but those are kind of the same set. So we're losing all 4 of those, right? But we're not losing Dominaria. But next time we rotate, we're going to lose Dominaria, and I believe, I want to say Phyrexia all will be one.
I'm looking right
but
now.
Again,
okay.
like I can't remember exactly, but we got a year until that we might worry.
Oh no,
about that,
we're
so.
okay. So no, this is okay because it's in August.
Yeah.
So that because Dominaria and Brothers War are not rotating.
No, they're staying. They're here for another year.
Okay, so basically we're losing Kamigawa, New Capenna, and the
2
Innistrad
sets.
Yeah. So then we'll lose Dominaria, Brothers War, all will be one, and March of the Machine.
Yes, I believe.
It's gonna be it'll be all will be one, March of the Machine, but we will not lose Wilds of Eldraine.
No,
because it came out in September.
Yeah.
So we'll keep Eldraine and Ixalan. I really like Ixalan. I feel like it's not very pushed, but it's a good set. Like I like the things that the set does.
I could be wrong here, but it's so like I don't know how much you paid attention in any of the content you watch, but something that like really popped out to me was how much of a like plant set Wilds of Eldraine was for Bloomburrow. There's so many card types in Wilds of Eldraine that matter here. Like Elusive Otter is an otter, and that's one of the best cards of the Prowess deck. There's a bunch of like other like these cards that have had like these kind of weird, but it made sense on Eldraine card types that now all of a sudden matter here. And I kind of feel like that's what's going to happen to Ixalan. Like we have Echozots, that's a bat, right? So that's going to matter, and it matters here. But then we have other cards that like don't necessarily matter too much, but might come up in one of the next sets.
I mean, there's a lot of vampires in Ixalan. I don't think.
Yeah, but they weren't that good though. I don't think there's
Creature of the Schisms from Ixalan.
Yeah, but to be honest, the Ixalan vampires were mostly became like demons and did like weird demon things.
Yeah, true.
So,
I don't know.
Preacher was just gas though. Preacher's like one of the best mid-range cards in the set.
Yeah. So we have Duskmourn's our next standard set that we apparently get to start spoiling again in a month.
And then we have Foundations after that, I believe.
Okay. I'm kind of hyped for Foundations.
Yeah. Also, just as a side, real quick, I love the fact that Duress is gone, I believe, unless it got reprinted in somewhere that I don't remember. But
watch me in Foundations.
Well, that's what I mean. Is like that's like those things. Like I'm okay with like the staple cards we've had in Standard forever, kind of going away for a couple months while we wait for Foundations to come out.
Just reprint Thoughtseize in Standard. Let's go.
Bet. We got a Thoughtseize variant, and Cruel calls something. The 2-mana gift a card, you can cast a spell you take thing.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be we don't have names for them. So our 2025 release schedule is unsecret, unnamed. There's a Death Race set. Is what it's called. There's Return to Tarkir, which might be gas because Tarkir was amazing, as much as we all hated on it. And then Universes Beyond Final Fantasy, which has been confirmed to be a real set like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's a full temple set, which makes sense because there's so many things in the Final Fantasy universe. So like that makes sense 100%.
Yeah. What time are we at?
55 minutes, gamer.
Oh, let's go. All right, we'll do our last bit then. I didn't pull anything for this. I didn't think that it was really necessary. We are talking about Final Fantasy's coming up. Final Fantasy is our next Universes Beyond set. Kind of gonna be gas.
So hype.
Yeah. I kind of hope it's our first Universes Beyond set where like we get like a real Planeswalker.
Probably not. I don't think they're gonna do Planeswalkers in Universes Beyond. I know
that's so lame though, because Sephiroth Planeswalker would be gas. If anybody deserves it. I mean, technically they planeswalk. All the Final Fantasy characters have planeswalked if you've played Kingdom Hearts.
True. No, I think that like I can see Sephiroth kind of being a planeswalker just because of what's happening in the 7 remakes.
Yeah, gosh. I need to play the new one. I just got it the other day, but I've been too busy playing Elden Ring. So with that, let us talk about our 3 IPs that have not been made into Universes Beyond.
We would like disclaimer, Final Fantasy was on the top of this list, but they are making Final Fantasy. So
look, Fallout was. I have a Fallout set that I made years ago. Right when Fallout 4 came out, and then they made one. But hilariously enough, one of my cards that I made, and like I just kind of like have this saved on my Google Drive, is literally Exterminatus. Like when I made it, I was like, this card's absurd. They're never gonna do this.
And they were like,
and then they like did it. And like my mana cost is like spot on.
Nice. Hey.
I think I have the same mana value. My colors are just different.
Makes sense, yeah.
But go ahead. Let's hear your first one.
So I said Gundam as like just a fun little thing.
So good.
Because like it's probably gonna be like one of the Transformer universes, to be honest. It's not gonna be like a full set. It's gonna be like this little mini bonus sheet that's like just a little fun thing to do. In something like I don't know where they would get a Gundam like in universe cards to like make Gundams out of, but whatever.
Are they all artifact creatures with crew?
Yeah, are they all vehicles? Are they mounts? Are they mounts? Are they artifact creatures that like have mount?
Ooh. Yeah.
Because like some of the Gundams can like do things on their own and be controlled remotely. Like how much do you want to go into Gundam? Because there's so much like deep lore. Gundam's around for way too fucking long, right?
Dude, original Gundam is like all of the things in Gundam are like stories of the actual wars of Japan. Like Gundam is sick. That's so good.
My favorite Gundam, like I don't remember the name of the show, so forgive me everybody who's listening, because
there's
honestly
like 15 Gundam shows.
It's been forever since I've actually watched Gundam. But whichever one where my man Burning Fingers, whatever that one was, where he just shoves his hand through the like opposing Gundams and like rips out the pilot, like that was so sick. And like I just want to see a card where that's what my man does. He just like Burning Fingers and just grabs you. Like just goes through
there's your sorcery, like
there's my removal spell, right? Like let's go.
For my first one, I'm going with Monster Hunter. I just don't think that you could do anything like cooler than a like let me get it, dude. They don't even have to do new cards. Like you could just give me like Skitterix is Rathalos. Like just give me 2 Skitterix. One's Rathalos, one's Raytheon.
I could see like a Secret Lair doing that, or like a Secret Lair when Wilds comes out. I could see them doing like a Secret Lair with Monster Hunter. That would be a really good tie-in.
But even then, like they don't even have to do that. Like just make like there's plenty of monsters. They're all different enough.
You could do like I think that would be really good on Ixalan, because Ixalan is about monsters and humans kind of hunting these monsters, right?
Yeah.
So like I could definitely see that as be like the next version of like something like that if they wanted to do something like that. I don't know
But
if they
like
want
also
to,
like
but
the non-monster characters, like some of the human characters are good enough to just be cards
like
as well.
Chevelle just has a great
Yeah.
sword, just has an ancient bone great sword, right? So like,
The elder dragons are all good enough to just be like their own cards.
yeah,
Like, I mean, like you could make a couple like the weapons could all
dude,
be
ready?
equipments.
Netheroi, the apex, the Abzan
Oh,
apex, he could
yeah.
just be Volhazak. He's just running around gassing
Yeah.
everybody up.
It's yeah, I don't know. Monster Hunter is so fun. I can't wait.
It is,
Wilds is
yeah.
gonna be. I went back. I've been playing Iceborne again for much longer than I care to admit.
I always go through cycles. Like every time I'm
Yeah,
just like, it's time to play some Monster Hunter because I just haven't
it's
finished
just
Iceborne. So like every once in a while, I just go back and be like, got some
I
time.
I don't control the ADHD. I just do what
Exactly.
it tells me to do. Like,
ADHD
all right,
controls me.
all right. What's your next one?
I think I want to go with like Harry Potter is my next one, and I know
Man,
that
it's so good.
I know that this is a controversial take, but like I mean I have a Deathly Hallows tattoo on my neck, so like whatever.
Yeah, like
But I think like give me a Strixhaven set, right? Give me back to Strixhaven and just give me fun like Harry Potter themed cards, dude. Like let me in.
It's so good. It's controversy aside. Did you play the game?
I haven't got a chance to play Hogwarts
Oh
Legacy
my god!
because like it's one of the, it's again the ADHD doesn't control me. I mean I don't control the ADHD, but you know.
My buddy does release parties for all the major titles, and it's just a bunch of fat, sweaty, hairy nerds playing a video game at launch. And I mean, Hogwarts Legacy was just like we all did the test, got pre-assigned all of our stuff, and just like went for it. And it was Hogwarts Legacy was just a masterpiece of a game. Like they did a really good job on it.
Yeah,
And I think
good.
that Harry Potter has been such an influential IP. I mean,
100%.
Harry Potter started when I was in elementary school, and like it's still relevant to this.
They're talking about like doing like a reboot of it, like doing the movies again or doing something weird again. Not that I think that like we need a reboot of it, right? I don't think so personally, but
I like reboots of things. I have been a big proponent of I like these remakes and remasters of old games. I think we have reached a time where remastering games is what
makes
we
sense.
should be doing.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like bring some of these old classics back that people might not have access to or anything or gotten ridiculously expensive. And like
Capcom's killing it with their remakes. Capcom's absolutely killing it, and I can't wait for RE5. RE5 is my favorite Resident Evil. It's an absolute wonderful, fantastic game from start to finish.
Yeah.
Almost should have picked Resident Evil to be one of my IPs, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Although the Voldemort card would be sick. I'm here for it.
Oh, I'm in.
I would my next one. I'm gonna pick it. I'm gonna lay down my life on this one. You think Harry Potter was a hot take? I want that Destiny 2 Universes Beyond.
Brother, get me in.
Have to have it. I have to have it.
I mean, I guess not Destiny 2 specifically, but just Destiny in general. Just the characters, the lore, everything, yeah.
Like, I mean, it's
I mean, I have a ghost here. We play Destiny all the time. Like
I got the gingerbread ghost.
Yeah, like it is what it is. Like, Destiny's lore is just too good. That lore team kills it.
The lore is so good. The gameplay is flawless. Like I never play Destiny and be like, man, I sure do wish that this didn't feel this way. Like everything that's wrong with Destiny is gameplay loop wise, but like the actual shooting, movement, puzzle solving.
Yeah, the way to play the game, perfect in my opinion, at least.
But like the like, let me get the Vanguard as creatures. Like let's do this. I want ghost tokens. I want all guardians to have an ability where when they die they drop a ghost token, and then at the beginning of your on your next turn you can sack the ghost to get your guardian back.
You remember how the one phoenix from Ikoria works? Yes. Yeah, it drops the feather. Like just do that kind of thing. Yeah.
Like let me get that. Dude, Lucent Hive being like the commander decks for this are perfect.
Oh, I think the commander deck, I think like that would probably be the best commander specific product if they were to do something like that.
Like the other ones, like I don't think like you could squeeze out 2 Monster Hunter Commander decks easy, but I don't think you could do the full 4.
Yeah, because
But
there's too much. I think there's too much in Monster Hunter where it's just better to be a set, and then have like specific like kind of tie in
yeah,
commander decks. Whereas like I don't think that there's enough that people will understand that you can make a set out of for Destiny versus being able to make like there's clearly defined good and evil like things
oh no,
that
I
are
think
good for
you could
commander
make.
decks.
I think for Destiny specifically, you could make a Lord of the Rings set
I mean, you could,
with
but
Destiny, and I think
my
it would be just as good as the Lord of the Rings.
my thing is that like Lord of the Rings was like a literary like thing, right? First. So people read the lore, whereas like Destiny people don't really know the lore unless you watch like the videos or
The
by
10
paying
hour
attention.
My Name is Bife video.
Brother, I'm in.
Shout out to my boy.
My boy. Lore Daddy himself, right? But no, yeah, I could see it. But that's one of those things that's like definitely a want to have versus probably gonna happen. But
I mean, look. Destiny has been doing more and more. They did a Dungeons and Dragons crossover. I don't
True.
think that it's out of the purview.
give me an emote in Destiny. Sorry guys, we're on a Destiny rant right now. Give me an emote.
Dude, I'll go boot it up right now.
Give me an emote in Destiny where instead of like table flip, I summon the table and I got a hand of magic cards.
Oh man, let me get the Smite crossover. Let me get Nicol Bolas armor as a warlock.
Brother,
Like
I'm in.
knowing them though, it would probably be uh it would be Jace Hunter because hunters always get the cool armor. Probably a Johnny Titan, and then something awful like let me get a Nissa warlock. It could be Chandra. We could
I'll
get
say
the Chandra
Chandra.
warlock.
Chandra would make more sense.
But it's Bungie, so probably
Yeah.
get Nissa.
So let's because we're going to rant about Destiny 2, we keep talking about it. So let's separate that.
Destiny 2 podcast incoming.
My last one, and this isn't like these are not in any specific order of like magnitude for me, but I said like silver screen movies, so like stuff like Scream, stuff like Nightmare on Elm Street.
I mean, if any of you are familiar with Einstein Kills, just go listen to the Silver Scream.
1 or 2.
Just 1. 2's kind of mid.
2's all right, but I think that like those movies fit very well with like a lot of cards that already exist, and it'd be pretty easy to like make cards like that have good in-universe versions.
Yeah.
And like we are going into Duskmourn, which is kind of like this horror theme set, and I know it's going to tie into what I'm pretty sure I already know what your last one is because who you are as a person.
Hi.
But like
I don't know. I'm thinking about changing it on the fly.
But I think that like things like that, every horror set has done well. Like Innistrad has done well because it was like one of the most beloved sets. So
Innistrad
like
is still my original Innistrad block is still my favorite set.
Yeah, and I could definitely see Duskmourn doing well too. So like it's just one of the things I would like to see, but
I think it would be great. I mean
we got Scream coming to we got Ghostface coming to Mortal Kombat 1. So
I mean he's already in Dead by Daylight, but as it turns out that IP is a lot easier to get than you think. The only thing that is copyrighted on that IP is the mask.
Yeah.
So you get free range on everything. And I honestly like a Dead by Daylight set would be kind of cool because if they went through it and didn't just do the original Dead by Daylight IPs and they got all of the licensed ones too, I think it would be good. Except for Get Real Freddy, but I think Robert Englund is too expensive of a likeness.
Yeah.
For my, I would honorable mention Elden Ring. I definitely think that the lore in Elden Ring is good enough to do commander sets on.
Oh, that's because George R.R. Martin out there writing freaking Targaryen histories into Elden Ring. Everybody's screwing their brother and sister.
Yeah, man, it is what it is.
Anybody investigate that man? Maybe he's into a little bit of incest, bro, because he's writing a lot.
Listen, Dan Harmon is also alive. But my final one, and I just did my big vacation. We went to Providence, Rhode Island. We visited H.P. Lovecraft's grave. And my God, if an actual true to form HP Lovecraft set wouldn't be the absolute nuts.
Yeah, like
Like,
that's one of the things where like I want to see. I would love to see them because this next one is like an Eldritch Horror theme set with Duskmourn. I would love to see like just do like special versions of cards.
no,
At
I need
least
the full. The lore is
I
so deep and so
agree that
rich.
would be
Let me
fun,
just get the whole
but
set.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Because like
There's, I mean, I'm in
we
the
have a big
historical
Cthulhu
society.
monster already, though.
Yeah, but I need the real Cthulhu. I need Hastor. I mean,
Yeah,
Shub-Niggurath, Yog-Sothoth. There's all of
there's a lot.
these,
There's a lot. Yeah.
and they're all like even the humans in the stories are good enough like could be good enough for cards. Like there's good enough creepy things that happen. There's plenty of stuff to do artifacts. There's plenty of stuff to do instant sorceries because magic exists in the mythos. Like it could be another true to form set, I think, and be better than it just has to be better than Assassin's Creed.
Well, that's a
I
low
think
bar.
I think Assassin's Creed was done dirty. I think it was I think Universes Beyond should only go two ways. Three
Yeah.
ways. We'll take the Jurassic Park one, Transformers, how those went. I think those went,
Bonus sheet style stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I think those are fine. Because those cards aren't really like breaking anything. They're not like format staples.
I mean,
And
CEDH loves Slicer, but we kind of got almost a better Slicer
yeah.
in
But like
Assassin's Creed. But then again, it's
on one
Assassin's
end
Creed.
of the spectrum, I like the Fallout method of here's commander decks, that's all you get. Like, do that. Like, I think that's a good way to do it. And then I think the full-blown Lord of the Rings method is that it should only be those two, and then like or Godzilla or Jurassic Park or Transformers
Yeah,
like that.
like I'm okay with the secret layer, like specific ones, which are like just alternate arts usually of existing cards. Now, I do like the universes beyond specific stuff, like Lord of the Rings, the way it did that, like full temple sets, which is what Final Fantasy and Marvel is gonna be. They're
I thought
both
Marvel was just gonna be Secret Layer.
no Marvel is a full blown set, and it's gonna be
Okay.
multiple different things. Um, I think Marvel's going to be like a little bit of everything because they're going to do multiple different like timelines and storylines. Because they
I'm
said
fine with
Marvel's
it.
supposed to be like 3 different sets. Like they're doing like Marvel's like a big thing.
Of course, yeah. Well, I mean, it is. I would say at this point in time, Marvel is the largest IP on the planet.
Yeah, the fact that they landed that is, I could not
Yeah,
imagine how much money that cost. But
and it's more. I think like Marvel is still. It's probably top 5 most expensive IPs,
yeah, it's
but
ridiculous.
Pokemon is still the top.
Yeah, but Pokemon's never gonna. We're never gonna. We have a competing card game. Like it's never gonna happen.
Yeah. How many Pokemon tattoos do you have?
About to be a whole arm.
I got one.
But yeah, it's Pokemon's Pokemon, like whatever.
But like I've read every HP Lovecraft book. I have now been to where he is buried. I have it was a whole going there to see his grave is just a whole surreal experience. We did the walk. We saw the original manuscripts at Brown University. I mean, dude, the ramblings of a madman. The set would be fantastic. Like it's all so good. Like Watsy still to this day couldn't write lore that deep. And
True.
it's the rambling, like he like dude, seriously, I think I may have sent you the pictures, but like some of these short stories are written on the backs of letters completely unrelated to anything that's happening, and he just
100%.
scribbled out the letter body and went straight into writing a story around it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Still honorable mention. I think honorable mention is Elden Ring, and I do think a Borderlands set could do pretty good.
I think Borderlands is one of those things where I don't want to see a full set of because like it's to be fair, they don't have like a bunch of characters that are like to me can be made of a full set. I think it's more like I want to see like commander decks because like
Oh yeah,
it's much better to do that for Borderlands. But I can see Borderlands being something.
would it be cool if they just did a what if they did a Baldur's Gate set?
They did.
That was I was memeing, sir.
It sucks honestly, it sucks so much that set came out because they did like off time because they delayed the game. It sucks so much that happened because I think like that set is so no joke, that set is so underrated. It's one of the best sets for Commander that's come out that's not called Commander Legends. Like and it is called Commander Legends, and that's the problem. Like
bro, Tasha's Hideous Laughter is so pushed.
Oh my god.
Dude, that card
talk about that
so
card.
absurdly good. I can also handle an SCP set, honorable mentioned.
That's that you're getting into fringe territory there.
Dude, SCP is super fringe. Kind of glad it deserves to be super fringe.
It's fun. Well, we're gonna go on forever about random universes, so we should probably cut this short.
Yeah, but I mean, thank you guys for hanging out and listening. Please make sure
we did some ranting.
Yeah, it's
I guess
the ADHD. I don't control it.
There is like I guess two real quick things we should mention that are actually Magic related. So like let's get back a little bit topic real quick.
Wait, is this
a Magic podcast?
This isn't a Magic podcast.
But these are like gonna be just really quick touches on the topics. So we had the Wizards' incapability in fallible, terrible mindset of let's not ban Nadu. So we're
literally said, yeah, we're not banning anything until August.
So we're gonna talk about this real quick. I don't want to go on a rant about this because we already ranted about Nadu and we ranted about Nadu so many times. But the biggest thing is like, I understand their thought process. It's like, hey, we set up these ban windows so that people can have faith about things rotating. But also, like you've also said that you know that Nadu is a problem, and we all know that Nadu is a problem. And we're going into modern RCQ season, and you decide that you're not going to do anything about it. So
Nadu is a card with such a massive win rate and such a massive play rate, and it's still $3 because we know it's getting banned.
Nobody's buying it because we know the deck's getting banned. So like, the big thing here for me is that you got a double-edged sword here, right? Because I think you're walking on the sharper edge of the sword. Okay, I think that you're making the faith in the format fall apart.
It's not even the faith in the format.
The faith in you being able to control the format to fall apart. Because like we've had that week, we had that Pro Tour. Like after that Pro Tour, you saw all the Nadu decks. You saw how horrible it was to play against, how horrible it was to watch, and like your commentators made jokes about it. Like, just cut it.
If you have to lay your board out in a specific way,
you have a Nadu like counter to change, do your piles. Yeah. Like, get out of here. Like, get the card out of here.
Get this dude. And like, and if they can't ban the One Ring, like, I need the transparency for them to say that. Like, we would like to ban the One Ring, but we are not allowed to contractually.
I don't even care about the One Ring right now. Ban me Grief, ban me Grief, and ban me freaking Nadu. Those two cards, get them out of here.
Yeah. I still think we make a format called Modern, and then we make a format called Modern Horizons. And the difference is you can play Modern Horizons in this format, and you can't in this format.
Well, I think like that. Whatever. This is a whole nother topic.
Yeah, I'm so mad about Nadu and Grief and Fury and Orcish Bowmasters and.
Yeah, we've hit this already in one of the casts before, but just re-bringing it up that WotC decided that they're gonna wait until the August 26th ban to ban anything, and while that's understandable and admirable to a point, it's also, hey, you're counterproductive to what you're trying to do.
At a certain point, it becomes what's more important to you.
Yeah,
the health of your game and people enjoying playing your game, or the only banning in the window so that people don't have faith in the game. People don't have faith in the format. People don't have faith in WotC. People don't have. I mean, there's no, like, what do we play? Like, we play Standard. Like, we can play Commander, but Commander's still not technically a competitive format because CEDH is abysmally bad.
It's so hard to get into unless people allow proxies, which people should just allow proxies in that format anyway. But moving on.
Dude, I mean, I don't want to play a 2-turn game, like, period. It never, ever, ever will I want to play.
It doesn't bother me, but I think like the biggest thing for me here is that, like, when there are literal stores that have canceled their RCQs because no one's going to show up to the RCQ, and said we'll just reschedule it in September after the ban. So like that tells you all you need to know, and you just like you should just change this up.
And I've seen people on Twitter talking about from the ends of the earth that their local game store just has Nadu banned. You cannot play Nadu in their store, and nobody's mad about it.
Yeah,
it's because there's no reason to be. It's not a good deck. It is not conducive to good gameplay.
Right, Wizards, you have two options. Okay, this is as far as I can see it. If you're gonna wait till the 26th, fine, whatever. Do you? You've already dug that hole, right? Fine. On that 26th, I don't want you to ban Nadu. I want you to unban Hogak. I want you to unban Eldrazi lands. I want you to unban all that bullcrap and just let it run.
Let it go. What's
and then
better?
if Nadu still wins everything, get it the heck out of here.
Is Nadu gonna be faster than Hogak?
Just full reset. Get it out of here.
Oh god. Oh yeah. Let me get Bridge from Below back. Let me get. I mean, you gotta just unban everything. Unban everything you're banning Nadu.
Hit the unban everything button, and then be like this. Let's see.
You know what the issue is though? They're probably just gonna ban Shuko. Or are they gonna ban they're gonna make the landfall bug. Like that's what they're gonna ban.
No, because there's too many things. Like there's too many redundant things. Like I understand that like they are really bad at this, and this is probably what they're gonna and like that's what they did before with Hogak, right? But I will give them the credit that I think that they learned from the Hogak scenario that they're just gonna ban Nadu, right? But it's also like because like Shuko's not a card without Nadu. Let's be honest, Shuko's not a card.
The deck literally doesn't exist without Nadu. It exists without Shuko because we just go to Paradise Mantle.
Yeah, exactly. So it is what it is. But anyway, we're gonna rant about that's a whole nother we've already done a podcast and a half about this.
I hate it. I hate WotC. Let's just play. This is a Lorcana podcast now.
One Piece TCG, baby.
We can't do One Piece TCG because I have literally never even seen 5 seconds of One Piece.
You don't have to. One Piece to TCG, baby. It'll start you all by its own.
No, I'm okay. I don't play games that have that mana system.
Yes, you do.
No, because doesn't One Piece uses the is basically just glorified Hearthstone.
I mean, it's Hearthstone kind of in paper, but it's really just actual mana from Magic. Just every turn you get a set amount.
Yeah, no, I hate that. That's where I'm out. Every turn you get a set amount, out.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of the topics I wanted to bring up. That was like this really huge in Magic news.
I think it's a mistake.
Everyone thinks it's a mistake. That's just where we're at. So,
it's
just sad reality.
I think you should get one emergency ban a year, and it should be right after like Modern Horizons.
They had a ban window after Modern Horizons released, and they said we want to give it time to breathe, and they did, and now they're giving it too much time to breathe because their ban window is too far away.
And they're just bad at this.
So you know what they should do, in my personal opinion,
hire us.
They have this ban window for after Bloomburrow, right? Technically. They should just ban there.
Yeah, they're not. They're gonna ban Atraxa, and that's gonna be it. They're gonna only ban Atraxa.
I don't think they ban Atraxa here. I think that I think the domain deck has lost enough stuff that it's not super consistent. And like I said, a turn behind, and right now there's so much aggro stuff that's injection in the format. I think we have enough time to like figure it out. Atraxa might come back and be like still like the best top end threat, but I don't think it's gonna be as dominant as it was before because domain isn't going to be as good as it was before.
And Knight Errant of Eos is the other one.
I also don't think Knight of Eros needs to be banned. I don't think Knight of Eros is even like a bannable card. And I think like
it's just on the watch list. Those are the two cards they said we're going to ban.
Yeah, we also had to talk about this.
Yeah.
But
all right, well, let's sign off then.
Yeah,
because we'll just sit here and rant for the next hour.
Yeah.
Like we're just angry at everything. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment,
binge watch all of them. Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Leave them unmuted in the background. Join the Discord. Follow us on the Twitter.
Yeah.
The Discord is trying to be popping. We got some good folks in there.
Yeah, we're trying. Now,
Yeah.
like, if you guys want have any cool deck ideas, obviously give that to me. I'm trying to get an arena account up and running. The issue is obviously arena's expensive, so like XD.
Yeah. I
But
have some gems from where I bought a bunch a few months ago, and they've just been sitting. So I will
well,
do
my thing
something
is
with
like
that.
I can't even get like my thing is like, what if I wanted to get like an Elma Decast specifically named account up and running? Like,
Yeah.
do I just rename my account, I guess, and like keep it
Yeah,
moving?
you have more cards than me, and then we just have an MLD cast one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Sounds good to me. Make sure you check out Box, our artist. She did all of our wonderful art. That is just fantastic. Unless you put white text on it to make it really small, then it sucks.
Learned that lesson.
Yeah, make sure you check out the shorts. The shorts are fun. I have a lot of fun making those.
Yeah, we got to make more, but this past week's been kind of hectic. So
I've been on vacation. It's just the
my
way
life is crazy. So
yeah, I mean, my fiance works for herself, and I don't work, so I just do whatever she tells me to do.
Yep. Simping.
Yeah, pretty much. Today we had walking tacos, and that was what I did. But again, thank you so much. I mean, the numbers are going up, and that's all that we can ask for.
Yeah, appreciate every single one of you. Honestly, anybody who stops and listens, awesome.
If we get to 50 by the end of the year, we'll make merch. That's my goal. It's 50 by the end of the year.
Maybe we'll see. All right, gamers, have a good night.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.